Welcome to Forest Chat, where we talk about individual endeavour in Western Australia, what it takes, what it means, and how you do it. I'm your host, Paul Vandermeer, and in today's episode, we're talking with Chloe Jean Vincent about acting. Chloe started acting when she was about 10 years old and has since completed a Bachelor of Performing Arts at WAPA and is now preparing for her next production. Welcome to Forest Chat, Chloe Jean.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
It's great to have you here. Chloe Jean, people think about all actors being up on the TV and the big screen and that sort of thing. What is the acting that you do?
I guess I would classify myself as a keeper of forgotten stories. I work in a variety of different creative disciplines. I'm an actor, but I'm also a budding author, a performance maker, and a singer. But for me, these disciplines do share a commonality. They're all vessels of story. So I guess above all else, I consider myself a storyteller. And for me, that's what it really means to be an actor, is to be a storyteller. I've always been really interested in unearthing and sharing the narratives that history often overlooks and shining a light on themes and topics that have been neglected due to bias or circumstance. Through my work, I strive to give a voice to those who cannot speak for themselves and to illuminate their experiences and emotions through performance. Every story matters, and I think that sharing these tales can foster empathy and understanding and connection among us. So my creative practice as an actor is really grounded in the philosophy of honouring these voices and perspectives, using art as a bridge to illuminate the richness of our shared humanity, which is both a privilege and a responsibility. I'm really committed to inspiring others to engage with these important narratives, sparking conversations and hopefully a greater appreciation for the diverse tapestry of human experience. I'm particularly interested in Holocaust narratives, especially through the lens of Anne Frank's remarkable story. Currently, I'm so honoured to be playing the role of Anne in WA's first ever production of The Diary of Anne Frank. It's always literally a dream come true for me. My whole life, I have dreamed about playing Anne. I never thought it would happen. From the moment I picked up her diary, I've just felt this really peculiar connection to her. I've always felt that we share a lot of striking similarities. Reading the diary was in many ways like looking in a mirror and seeing parts of myself reflected back. In other ways, it was like having a friend, the kind of friend I'd always imagined, someone thoughtful and curious and passionate. For a lonely young girl, this was invaluable. Anne's words showed me that I wasn't alone. And she constantly inspired me with her hope and positivity, her self-reflexivity, her immense courage. So I think because of that, I've really dedicated myself to preserving her legacy. For the past few years, I've been working on a manuscript that reconstructs the last 7 months of her life. So to have the opportunity to embody her on stage, it's an incredible blessing, but it also is so weirdly serendipitous as well. Even though I'm a bit of a jack of arts, doing, writing and singing and performance making, I've always wanted to be an actor.
What acting are you doing?
I do a bit of everything, really. I'm predominantly a film actress. That's where I've done the majority of my training and experience. But right now I am currently in a theatre production of The Diary of Anne Frank. So I do guess I mix up my genres a little bit there.
There's plenty of different avenues for somebody who wants to be an actor. Can you describe some of those avenues that people might go into?
So there's, I guess, your traditional commercial route where you can do commercially viable films that are produced by production companies, funded by production companies. They're the things that you'll see at the cinemas or the things that you see on TV, for example. You can also do a kind of semi-professional film route where you're working with kind of independent filmmakers. That's usually on a more of like a local level. You're kind of working with local indie film producers and directors to create products that are shown at film festivals and kind of in indie cinemas. Similarly, in theatre, you've got your commercial theatrical productions, which are shown at all of like the major theatres across the country, like for example in Perth, the Crown Theatre, Sydney Theatre Company. And then you've got a step below that, you've got the kind of independent, pro amateur, we call them, theatre productions, which are paid. So you're still earning money from it, which is always nice when you're a starving artist. But it's just not quite at the same, I guess, commercial level as the other projects. You can also just decide to do TV commercials. See a lot of actors that go into just making television commercials and advertisements on social media and stuff. That's quite a lot of money in that, so that's quite a good route for some people. It draws a lot of people in. You can do role playing where you help groups like the Defence Force or the Police Academy or Psychologists Association to help train their recruits and everything. That's a really fun kind of way to be an actor and still kind of keep a diverse set of other interests going at the same time. So there's lots of different avenues really when you start to think about it. It's not just what you'd typically associate like, oh, Hollywood movie stars. There's lots of different kind of little avenues and pockets that you can find yourself in.
And there's also the element of roles that actually suit who you are.
Exactly. It all depends on who you are as a unique individual, what you bring to the table. Some people are character actors, some people are dramatic actors, some people are lucky enough and they can do everything. It all depends on your own uniqueness, I think, as to where you fit within the market. Character actors, they tend to be like your larger than life, like if you've ever seen Les Mis, the Madame Thénardier kind of roles, the big comedic, funny ones. And then your dramatic actors tend to be a bit more serious, Shakespeare, that kind of vibe.
Oh, like your police shows on TV or something like that, where they're much more like cool and deliberate and directed, more serious. Is that the sort of thing you're
Absolutely.
thinking?
Yeah. And then those are also genres as well. So it's a whole very diverse kind of concept acting, really. So when you think about it in those terms, it's interesting.
And is there also a amateur range of things that you can do?
Yeah, for certain. WA in particular has a really great level of amateur performance. There's some really great theatre companies where if you just feel like doing it for fun or as a hobby, that's a completely viable option.
I know we down at our local senior citizens, which gives away my age, they do 2 theatrical productions a year. That's the members putting that on.
Fantastic. I think it's a great opportunity for senior citizens and for children and everything, the amateur spectrum, because you can still fulfill other interests and objectives outside of performing, but you're getting to kind of tickle that performance bug at the same time.
You mentioned the performance bug. We might go on to the next question, which is what does it take you to be an actor?
I think for me, being an actor requires an incredible amount of resilience and a deep well of emotional strength. It's an art form where you will inevitably face rejection, often hearing a countless number of no's that can feel really disheartening. But what many might not realize is that these rejections are seldom a reflection of your talent or hard work. Sometimes it's simply a matter of being the right fit or not. Maybe your hair is the wrong color, or you're too short, or you remind the director of their scary ex girlfriend, so on, so on, so on. Whilst it's not a reflection of your talent, it is really hard not to take these rejections personally. I think because being an actor is so closely tied with not only how you identify yourself, but often your physical appearance and characteristics. So rejection can feel like an attack on your personal self and leads you to wonder if there's something inherently wrong with you, if in some way you're not enough. Those beliefs are so limiting. You've got to trust the words of the acclaimed director Jane Campion and know that you are enough just as you are. So then, resilience in this context is knowing that each effort you invest in contributes to your journey. Perhaps you just weren't the right match for a specific role, but that doesn't diminish your abilities or your passion. It's essential to recognize that the next opportunity could be just around the corner. So if you just dust yourself off with determination and keep faith in your craft, that's vital. I also find emotional availability is crucial in this field. whilst it might be tempting to harden yourself to the pain of rejection, it's actually really beneficial to allow yourself to feel that hurt. Acceptance of those emotions is part of the process. There's a quote from Zendaya that really resonates with me. She shares that the roles you miss out on are just simply not meant for you. And if you just trust in the universe to bring the right opportunities your way, that can provide a lot of comfort and guidance. When I reflect on my journey, I mean, I've experienced some really tough rejections last year. Um, Roles I wanted more than anything slipped through my fingers, and it was honestly really quite heartbreaking. But then, right when I was ready to give up, I landed the role of Anne Frank, and I realized that this opportunity was always intended for me. It's moments like these that remind me that the beauty of perseverance and the importance of trusting the path laid out before you. Each step, whether it leads to success or disappointment, is just a part of your story and an invaluable experience on this journey. So, to really thrive as an actor, it takes an unwavering commitment to your craft, a wellspring of discipline, and an insatiable curiosity about life itself. Every day is a new opportunity to refine your skills and deepen your understanding of the human experience. The journey is definitely not marked by shortcuts. It requires consistent training and the determination to push through challenges. And your personal characteristics and strength will be your lights, whether it's a knack for creativity or a keen sense of empathy or ability to think critically. These are the qualities that will fuel your artistic expression. So if you embrace the idea that nothing worth having comes easily and that you bring something unique, something distinctly you to each role you embody, your distinctive you-ness basically is what makes you special. Each audition, each practice session, and every moment spent observing the world around you will then, as a result, contribute to your growth. So if you just be grateful for these opportunities as well. I mean, it's not every day that you get to act. Being an actor, it's like 50% survival job, 40% training, and only really 10% actual acting. So if you take hold of every opportunity you get to act and you start to approach auditions with this mindset of gratitude, like, how lucky am I to that I get to be this character, even if just for a moment, I think that takes some of the pressure off. Also, be curious, like immerse yourself in books, explore various forms of art, and let the stories of others ignite your imagination. By studying different perspectives and experiences, you unlock new layers of understanding that can enhance your performances. Like the cafe, that becomes your stage where you draw experience from all the lives unfolding around you. Acting, it's more than just memorizing lines, it's about connecting with the world and the people in it. So if you just keep honing these creative tools and if you stay dedicated and embrace the lessons along the way, you let the challenges you face strengthen your resolve, guiding you towards the journey that can await you. I believe with passion and perseverance, the horizon is bright, your dreams, they're there within reach. And although that path may not be linear or easy, or maybe sometimes not even as grand as you imagined it in your head, it's still possible.
That's amazing. There's a whole suite of things in there that are going on. Which ones did you find the easiest to achieve?
None of them. It's a lifelong commitment to working on these things. Every rejection will send you back down that path of self doubt, and you just got to pick yourself back up again and constantly remind yourself of these lessons. I think that's just an inherent part of being an artist as well as being a little bit neurotic. And you just got to remind yourself, because these are all things that people much wiser and much further along than me have come up with and figured out. And even they themselves don't always listen to these ideas. So it's a journey, it's a process, one that I'm still working on.
Is there an element of being comfortable in your own skin in all of that?
Definitely. You've got to be very secure in who you are as a person, even if you have, insecurities or self doubts, as we all do. I think at least if you know yourself, know your own taste, know your own mind, know your own beliefs, I think that can really contribute to a sense of knowing yourself as a holistic person. outside of acting as well. You got to know who you are outside of the industry because it's so easy to just get lost in this rabbit hole of mess. It's a messy industry. But if you know who you are, then you know your worth.
That's interesting that you describe it as a messy industry. What is it about the industry that makes it messy?
There's so many factors at play that are so outside of the actual craft. Like it's a business, so you've got the producers that are looking to get their money's worth. They've invested into it. You've got the directors that have these certain stakeholders that they have to appease. You've got the production companies that have certain standards that they have to meet, and then all the while trying to appeal to the audiences and what they're wanting. And along the way, I think the actual artistry of that gets a little bit forgotten. But that's the actor's role. The actor's role is to be the artist and the artistry, but that we quite often don't get to do that because there's all these other considerations from all these external forces trying to fit us into these boxes where we don't always fit or don't want to fit because that's not the creative juicy bit, you know?
And as you were saying, that creative juicy bit is in the end, it's a relatively small amount of the time that you're actually dealing with this.
It is, which is sad when you think about it. That's why getting to embrace every possible moment to act, even if it's a self tape where you're reading against yourself or an in room audition for a role that you don't really want, you just embrace it. You just go with it because, hey, at least you're not, working your retail survival job. You're getting to do what you love.
That's a big payoff compared to taking the steps.
It is. You only get one life. Be brave. Take the steps and be brave and do what brings you joy.
On your way through, you started at 10. Did you have something going on that was leading you into being an actor at that point?
Mum always says I was born to be an actor. I came out of the womb singing before I could talk, basically. I would hum myself to sleep as a baby. But I've always acted, always. I think the moment it was most clear was when I was 4 years old and I had my first ever ballet concert. I just refused to get off the stage. And mum was in the audience. She must have been just absolutely mortified because I'm just sitting there, standing on the stage, just doing my little curtsies and waving at all the people. And she's in the audience going, hey, Jane, get off stage. Get off stage now. I think it was pretty clear from there that that's what I was meant to be doing.
That feels like you inherently lived and breathed that performance component.
Very much so. It's been an inherent part of who I am for as long as I can remember. I mean, I've always embodied characters as well. Like, I remember as a kid pretending to be Goldie the dog. And I was very method over it too. Like, I ate out of a bowl, the whole shebang. And then I moved on to characters from books and TV shows that I admired, like Misty from Pokemon, Katara from Avatar The Last Airbender, Hermione Granger. And I would dress as them, I would copy their mannerisms, their accents. And then I got a little bit older and I started to film little mini movies just on my little handheld camera. And so then when I was 10 and I kind of figured out roughly kind of what I was doing was actually a real thing and not just me being a very strange child, that it was a thing called acting. So I begged my mum to put me into acting classes. And then from that very first class, I just fell in love with it, in spite of anything that was going on in my real life, in spite of the bullying going on at school or whatever. I could just get up on stage or on screen and I could be whoever I wanted to be. I could live 1,000 different lives. I think it's been my dream ever since.
It's an amazing dream to have. We'll have a little break, and when we come back from the break, we'll have a talk about what it means. We've had a look at what it takes, Chloe Jean, to actually be an actor. Now, let's have a look at what it means. Chloe Jean, what does it mean to you, your family, or the community that you're able to be an actor?
I grew up in an environment where pursuing a career in the arts wasn't really the norm. At school, the message was really clear. You focus on practical careers or you start a family early, sensible paths, but it wasn't my dream. I wanted to study at the West Australian Academy of Performing Arts. I wanted to be an actor. So every afternoon after school, my family made countless sacrifices to drive me to acting classes, singing classes, piano lessons, music theory lessons, you name it. And their unwavering support, it fueled my determination to chase my dreams despite the obstacles. I guess I want my journey to serve as a beacon of hope for others, especially those from underprivileged backgrounds. And I believe our circumstances, they don't define our potential. By pursuing my passion, I really hope I can inspire others to follow their dreams, regardless of where they come from. I got into WAPA straight from school, and I've been very, very fortunate to have had some amazing opportunities since. This isn't just a personal achievement, but it's proof that perseverance can lead to incredible opportunities. If I can break through the barriers, others can too. I guess in sharing my story, I can encourage young people to dream big and pursue their passions. I don't feel society encourages that enough, but it's about creating a ripple effect. When one person rises, they can lift others along the way. You only get one life, so why not spend it doing it? What sets your heart on fire? What's the point in living if we insist upon mundanity? I'd love to see a world where creativity is celebrated, showing everyone that dreams can come true no matter the starting point. So every time I step on stage or on set, I'm just so grateful. I remember all of the sacrifices made to get there, and I just strive to make a positive impact through my art. I also think about people like Anne Frank, whose dreams were stolen from them. I really carry her spirit with me as a constant reminder to cherish my opportunities and to make the most of my voice. In that way, each step I take is not just for myself, but it's for all of those whose stories deserve to be told. I really do try to always honour her memory. That's always been a focus with my manuscript, and now that's something that's constantly at the forefront of my mind as I start the rehearsal process for the play, which at this point in history, I guess it feels more important than ever to show the devastating impacts of hate can have. This production is for all ages, and it's been chosen to coincide with the first week of the school holidays so that families can attend, which it's really vital from a pedagogical perspective. As the numbers of Holocaust survivors fade each year, it's basically up to us, this new generation of creatives, to keep the stories of the Holocaust and the legacy of those it impacted alive. My father, Joe Frank, was convinced that young people needed to be persuaded that contributing to a better world is both necessary and possible. I mean, he answered thousands of letters from young people who read his daughter's diary, and he always ended his letters with the words, "I hope that Anne's book will have an effect on the rest of your life, so that insofar as it is possible in your own circumstances, you will work for unity and peace." We cannot change what happened anymore, but we can learn from the past and realize what discrimination and persecution of innocent people means. So that's how the diary is not just this vital pedagogical tool, but I guess it also ensures Anne's story continues to be told so that she may live on after death just as she wished. Not just a Holocaust story. That's such a common misconception. Anne teaches us how to live. Personally, I'm reminded about how lucky I am to live freely, experience life. I mean, there are so many things that Anne would have loved to do that she never got the chance. I'm determined to live them for her. You leave Anne's diary with a renewed sense of hope. This play is for anyone feeling lost or lonely or down or stuck. You'll come out of it thinking not of all the misery, but of the beauty that still remains.
It's amazing how one person's story can drive so much good in the world.
She was a remarkable writer. It was such a waste.
For people who want to act, there's an ability to do good. How do people connect with that?
It's not an obligation, I suppose. I don't want people to feel that that's the kind of actor that they have to be. But I think that it's a beautiful thing that we have the opportunity to do, to affect change in the world or to tell people stories that they never got to tell themselves. So I think it's just a matter of find the stories that resonate with you, find what you're passionate about, what you feel is worth telling, what you believe in. And I think if you're telling things from that honest place, then you're going to affect change anyway, because we all have a story inside of us that's worth telling. And if you show up as your authentic self and just tell that story, you're doing good.
It's so important to use your voice.
It is. We've been given one for a reason. We need to stand up and remember how to speak.
You mentioned earlier about the sacrifices that your family put in. How has your ability to act impacted on your family?
I just have the most supportive family you could possibly imagine. I grew up with a single mother who herself, she used to act, and she was in musical theatre, and she did Johnny Young, and she was on telethon. She's an amazing performer herself. She stopped pursuing it, unfortunately. It's a shame because she's probably a lot more talented than I am. But her whole drive is just to support me. She doesn't ask for anything in return. She doesn't want anything in return other than my happiness. And I think that's such a beautiful, selfless thing. You don't see that with a lot of families. I'm so blessed. Basically, her and Nanny, my grandmother, who's the other member of my family that has really helped me. They only care about my happiness, my well-being, me following my dreams. They've always encouraged me to follow my dream and be true to myself. They've really instilled that in me. So I don't think I've necessarily helped them with my acting as such. I'd love to be one of those success stories that makes it really big in Hollywood and can buy their mum a house or a car or something as a thank you. Maybe one day, maybe that's something to strive for, some way to repay them. Although I don't think there is any way to repay them because they've just done so much for me, but I'd love to try.
That's a worthy thing to aim for.
I like to think so.
What does the community get out of people who are actors?
Communities should be filled with diverse people from all walks of life. I think having secular communities that all people that are the same in them, that's boring. You don't learn anything from that. What's the point in living with everyone who's just the same as you? You know, if we have diversity, if we have people that pursue different things to us or have different interests or different life experiences, we become a better, more rounded human being just by knowing them. I think it's all about, I guess, contributing to people's own internal landscape of experiences. And we're great, we're funny to be around as well. You know, we're like the life of the party. Invite us, do an accent, you'll have a laugh, it'll be great.
So you can bring so much joy to the world.
Joy and hope and humour and warmth, and can teach people about themselves, help people reflect on themselves and their experiences. You can help people heal. They can help people feel seen. I think that's really important as well. We sometimes feel so alone, but if an actor's there conveying something that you've experienced on stage or on screen, you go, hey, I've experienced that. That's like me. I'm not just a void alone in this scary world. That's a person that's like me. I think that's important.
Yes, humans are creatures that really need to have a community around them.
Exactly.
It's a tribal thing almost, where if you're kicked out of the tribe, you probably didn't survive back in the day.
How boring would that tribe be as well if everyone wanted to hunt and no one wanted to tell stories or no one wanted to look after the trees? You've got to have someone doing a bit of everything in order to be a fully functioning, fully thriving community.
Absolutely. We've had a good look at what it means to be an actor. Let's have a break now, and after the break, we'll have a look at how you do it. We've had a look at what it means for Chloe Jean to be an actor. Now, let's have a look at how you do it. Chloe Jean, how would someone become an actor these days?
I'd love to say that there is a magic wand that you can pick up and you can wave it and you can go, I wish I could be a famous actor in Hollywood in all of the movies, and that dream would come true. I really wish, because I would wave that one myself. Definitely, there is no one formula or path that guarantees you success as an actor. And I'm still learning and figuring things out for myself. But I guess these are some of the things that I've learned from my journey thus far and gleaned from my much more experienced mentors over the years. So if you want to be an actor, definitely consider formal training in acting. No, look for your local acting classes, workshops, drama schools. Learn from experienced teachers. If you learn from experienced teachers, this can provide you with valuable techniques and insights, which I know nowadays in the culture of TikTok and having people be discovered off social media and casting directors privileging casting like real people with real experiences, that this often goes kind of undervalued in the industry. But I think if you're treating it as a craft and as a discipline and something that you want longevity in or something that you respect, you should definitely train. You're not going to be a doctor overnight. You go to medical school and you learn how to be a doctor. I think the same gravitas should be given to acting as well. From that same vein, just practice, 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 practice. Like any art form, like any skill, acting improves with practice. So, I mean, there's so many ways you can do this. You can join local theatre groups or do community productions. You can participate in student films. You can film self-tapes at home. That's a really great way to do it because that's, nice and comfy in your comfort zone at home. You don't even have to leave the house. And watch them back. Watching yourself is invaluable. You can see, particularly on camera, because cameras, it's so close in your face and it very much focuses on that really uber realistic genre. You can see where you're doing weird things, where you've forgotten how to be a human, because I promise you, as soon as the camera goes in your face, you will forget how to be a human. It just happens. But it will hone your skills, it will build your resume, and it also build your confidence, which is really important because a confident actor is an actor that can make exciting choices, interesting choices, bold choices, the kind of choices that are going to get you noticed when you go into an audition room. You've got to surround yourself with aspiring actors, filmmakers, creatives, artists, just anyone in the creative industry. Attend acting workshops, go to film festivals, industry events. Building community is really important. It's a very isolating industry. You can feel very alone, particularly when you're working a survival job and their lives are so different to yours and you feel like a failure because they've bought their big house and you're still trying to be an actor. You need to have your friends that are also just trying to be an actor that you can commiserate with and celebrate with. Plus, you learn so much from studying and talking to people around you. They're your best resources. Like, glean every little nugget that you can from them possible. Audition, and audition fearlessly. I know auditions feel really intimidating, but they're a crucial part of the journey. So prepare as best as you can, and remember that each audition is just a learning experience. Just be bold, be brave, be fearless, and be authentic. Always be authentic. Bring yourself, your true self, to every role. Authenticity will always resonate with audiences. Just stay grounded in who you are while exploring your diverse characters, because your unique perspective is your most powerful tool. And celebrate every step. Appreciate your progress, no matter how small. Teeny tiny, infinitesimal little progress. Oh, I said that word in a German accent today. Great. Celebrate that, because that's a big deal. Each role, each practice session, every audition counts. If you celebrate your growth and the joy that acting brings into your life, you can't ask anything more of yourself. You would do all these things and you're an actor. You don't have to be working to be an actor. You just have to be practicing to be an actor. That's what I would take away from this. I think actors, we feel like, oh, I'm not a real actor because I'm not on Home and Away, or I've not done a TVC, or I've not been paid. Are you auditioning? Are you rehearsing? Are you going to class? Are you absorbing the world around you and being creative in how you're looking at the world? Are you putting on different skins while you're out and about? If you're doing those things, congratulations, you're an actor. That's all it takes. And I guess if you're interested in being like me and becoming a keeper of forgotten stories, there's not much you have to do for that. All you have to really do is be ready and listen when they reveal themselves to you.
So, forgotten stories. So, the story of Anne Frank is one that you're working with at the moment. Are there others that you've been involved in as well?
A couple of similar productions in the sense I did another Holocaust movie a few years ago, Fading Numbers, which has been used by the education department to promote better Holocaust education. I'd argue probably that any Holocaust story is a forgotten story. I also did another feature film, Heretics, which focused on one of the pogroms in the early 8th century, I believe it was. That was really interesting. You don't hear a lot about how far back anti-Semitism goes. And that was really interesting to see how the Crusades affected the native Jewish people at the time. And then there's our Australian child migrants. That's another piece that I'm kind of got puttering on in the background myself at the moment that I'm writing. There's forgotten stories in every little crack and crevice, particularly in Australia. You just have to find them.
They're hidden, so like they're right out there in your face.
I guess some of them are. Anne Frank's pretty in your face. Not many people really know her full story, mind, which is sad. I think that's going to be one of the great things about this production, being the first time that it's shown to West Australian audiences, is it's going to educate a lot of people. They're going to come out of it and they're going to know Anne Frank's story, and they're going to know why the Holocaust was so horrendous, what a waste it was to kill an innocent 15-year-old girl, and why we need to stop these atrocities happening again. I'm really excited for that. We've just started rehearsals yesterday, I think it was. Yeah, yesterday. Did go on in a couple of weeks, April 15 to 19 at the State Theatre Centre. So I've never performed in before, so I'm really excited about that too.
Congratulations on landing that role. That's an amazingly well-aligned role for you.
Thank you. I honestly couldn't believe it when it came up. Mum sent it to me and I literally just typed her a message back straight away going, this is my role. I just knew it was right, and it was the right timing as well. And I'm just so grateful to Drew Anthony, who's our director, for giving me this opportunity and for trusting me with Anne's story. He's honestly amazing. Like, if anyone comes and sees the show, like, he is the absolute heart of this production. And my cast members as well are just so insanely talented, like crazy talented, and the nicest human beings as well, who are really, they have so much care for this story. I was really taken aback at our table read yesterday by the responsibility that they all feel in telling this story as authentically as possible. So I'm just so lucky. I'm so lucky.
What an opportunity. It's beautiful.
It really is.
Thank you very much for being on Forest.chat, Chloe Jean.
Loved it. Thank you for having me. It's been such a fun opportunity.
All Forest.chat listeners wish you all the best with your future endeavours.
Thank you. Come see the show.
You've been listening to Forest.chat, where we talk about individual endeavour in Western Australia, what it takes, what it means, and how you do it. I'm your host, Paul Vandermeer, and in today's episode, we've been talking with Chloe Jean Vincent about being an actor. Remember, there are 4 ways to get involved with Forest.chat. Share the domain Forest.chat with your friends and family and people you meet. You get advance notice of the episodes when you subscribe to the email list. Listen to the episodes at forest.chat/episodes. If you or someone you know does something interesting, book an interview at forest.chat/interview. If you'd like to support a small business, book an advert at forest.chat/advert. I'm looking forward to joining you with our next guest. Until then, enjoy making it happen.